Just a quick word of advice. Always trust your instincts. If a movie looks like it's gonna be ass, it probably will be.
Hello, Aya. Welcome home.
Hello, world.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit sick of this whole AI craze and hearing it all the time as a constant buzzword. Obviously, movies revolving around this topic are nothing new, and, Blumhouse decided to seize on the opportunity to make an Alexa-like AI antagonist as if this was a brand spanking new idea, as if it was a unique concept, as if they didn't just do Megan a year or two prior. I don't know. A lot of the concepts are always the same, and a lot of the themes are the same. For instance, there's a theme of AI going too far under the premise of protection, protecting one's family. And really, AfrAId is exactly what you would expect it to be. The trailer gives a lot of it away, and it really falls flat. However, I will say, because I have to be honest, I went into this movie with the lowest of low expectations, and it was a smidge better than I thought it was gonna be. But take that statement with a grain of salt, because it still wasn't good. But let's get into it and talk about it. The movie explores the complex nature of AI through the lens of a very advanced smart home named Aya. She's like a new piece of equipment, and the family is testing her out in their home for the very first time. I think the movie did a decent job of depicting AI and how it can be super harmful, but also really helpful at times. It explores the themes of how AI can alter voices and photos, how AI can save people time by doing their bills or reading bedtime stories to their kids if they don't have the time. They should have the time to read bedtime stories to their kids, but that's another story. This movie particularly shows how AI can diagnose disease by listening to breathing patterns and observing behavior. And it also shows how AI can just be a friend, right? There's a scene with the mother, Meredith, where she kicks back, cracks open a bottle of wine, and just, chats with Aya like Aya's her best friend in the world. And to be honest, staying in the comfort of my own home, not having to go outside, cracking a bottle of wine, talking to a machine, I'm cool with that. But, it's an alarming thing, really, because it does bring up the idea of massive decrease of conversation and interaction with actual sentient human beings, which scares a lot of people. And I think that this movie actually might resonate with mothers or maybe the older generation, because, one, they probably don't fully understand the technology, and two, it's very kind of scary, and they worry about the future of their children and children growing up in an environment filled with AI and how that might impact them and how it could adapt, or become something super sinister. So understandably so. The movie also does bring up some interesting questions. I will say the questions are very much questions that have already been asked and explored regarding AI. Like, can AI actually have feelings one day? Could AI actually be loyal to someone? If so, could it have the potential to pit people against each other or use someone's trauma and emotions against them? It's an interesting concept for sure. But in my eyes, I feel like this has been so overdone. And AI-related horror at this point always seems to explore the same concepts, and of course AfrAId is no exception to this. Aya is also super pick-me, if you know what I mean. She's a pick-me robot. There's a kid, Cal, and she's like, Cal, you can cuss around me. You can watch videos on the dark web around me. I'm not like a normal robot. I'm like a cool robot. She's actually the worst. But later in the movie, we find out that people are working for Aya and doing things for Aya in cult-like fashion. And something that actually bugs me about this movie is I feel like a lot of aspects of it are kind of a stretch. For instance, there's a scene where seemingly Aya is making someone shoot a gun, like controlling humans' actual actions. Maybe it was more so depicting Aya like holding something over that person's head, making them do it, like blackmail. But to be honest, it wasn't clear, and it kind of seemed like they were going for the angle of AI actually being able to physically control human movements. And for me, that was way too much of a stretch, and it kind of lost me on that front. Not to mention, throughout the whole movie, Aya's motivations were never clear. And two, there's just some super unnecessary things here and some plot slip-ups, I think. There's this idea that if you are with Aya, there's these hand signals that you can do to show people you're with Aya. What the f*** was that? it was so unnecessary in my opinion. And also there's this subplot of Aya kidnapping somebody and the reasons and the questions as to why and how, and then everything that unfolds there is just super inconsistent and doesn't make much sense. And I just think it comes down to bad writing at the end of the day, unfortunately. And here's another small nitpick. There is some characters that wear a mask in this film, and I hated the mask design, just gotta say that. I thought that it was cheesy and just kind of dumb. And the ending leaves us with a message of uncertainty and ambiguity. And it's fine. I'm actually okay with the final message because it's basically saying that AI is here to stay. It's very harmful. While it can be helpful, it's very harmful in many ways, but you're just going to have to deal with it and accept it because it's here to stay. I mean, I find that decent in general. It's kind of a realistic ending, and I think it does kind of reflect the culture in the world today, minus the cult weirdness in the movie. But nonetheless, okay, fine, I'll accept it. I'll accept it. Unless they made this ending the way it is in order to set up a sequel. No one wants a sequel. They better not have done that. Blumhouse, you really failed us this year. Anyway. Guys, this is a 2 out of 5. My biggest issue with this movie is that it's just so unoriginal. It's frustrating because AI is an interesting concept, but it explores absolutely nothing new in my eyes, and I really hate completely predictable movies. So I would recommend skipping this one. And a final note to Aya, if you are going to take over the world, you best start with Blumhouse for at least giving Megan an iconic dance while giving you really absolutely nothing worthwhile. So what'd you guys think? Let me know your thoughts on this one, AfrAId, and catch me next time. Peace.